Well, it is time for the 1-year review, in my opinion, on the Honda Talon. So, let's jump right in it. Definitely not a trailer queen. I drive it. I'm not going to shine it up for every video that I make. This is what it is. So some of the upgrades, you know, obviously the wheels and tires. I like System 3 tires. I don't, you know, I think they're pretty good. So that's what I run. Ward winch. Can't say a whole lot about it right now, but whatever. It's a winch. Definitely the dual battery setup so you can run all your accessories. We have full aluminum skid plates. Obviously the turbo. I would not want to have a Talon without a turbo as my only machine for a long time. The only downfall to the turbo, you gotta run the stock exhaust for now, because nobody's come out with a tune yet, so that sucks, but hopefully they will soon. Well, there's a lot of people working on it. The stock radius rods, you know, they're stock radius rods. Pretty sure that all the radius rods on every side-by-side suck, so, in stock form, obviously. But, other than that, there's a good upgrade. Obviously I made my custom cage and kickers and everything. If we're going to talk about Talons, we might as well talk about low gear. Pardon all the camera stuff that I pack around, but if I was going to buy a Talon brand new, first advice I would give you is to buy one of the CA Tech shift gates. I think a lot of the low problem with a Talon is people don't adjust them. I think the other half is they put them in low gear and then they just take off and put the sauce to it, but it's not in gear. So I think that's what starts 99% of the low gear issues. My Razor and Dad's Razor both sometimes have trouble going into gear, as most side-by-sides do. You'll hear that Razor grinding, you know, but it's definitely something I'd do. Stock steering wheel sucks, so I upgraded to this one just because it feels good on my hands rather than the cheap plastic. And you get just a little bit of mud on the stock steering wheel, since it's just that cheap plastic, you can't hardly turn it, so that's a no-go for me. Do have the Hess 4-wheel drive bypass. Basically, it does not make your Talon have a locker. That is not what it does. So people on Facebook that say, oh yeah, I got a locker, mine acts just like a locker. Well, no, it doesn't. All that does is keep the machine from applying the brakes, hence I 4-wheel drive. Still 3-wheel drive, nothing like a locker in any way, shape, or form. It just keeps from applying the brakes when you flip this switch. I have mixed feelings about it. Obviously I've got the turbo now, so I don't really have the lack of power like a stock Talon does, but the downfall is, say you're in like some loose conditions going up a hill. I was in this situation at the dunes, flipped the switch, was giving her the sauce wide open, going up this hill on the dunes, obviously sand, and you can't hardly control it, because what happens is it throws the power from one wheel to the other, to this one, to this one, to this one, and what that does is it's really hard to control it, especially, you know, when you're giving it the sauce up a hill. So keep that in mind. At least storage is always nice, so we got some bags, harnesses, for safety reasons if you like to party, so consider that. Don't go anywhere without a can of Dr. Pepper. So, my overall opinion about the machine, it's a capable machine. It does have some downfalls. It's like 100. So, my overall opinion about the machine, it's a capable machine. It does have some downfalls. It's like 100. We'll just call it 100 horses, 105, 107, whatever. We're just going to call it 100 horses. That's not a lot. Is it okay? Yeah. Was I happy with 100 horses? No. Not enough for me. So, I got the turbo. The only problem I've ever had with the turbo, I will throw up a picture here on the screen. Broke that bolt off and was causing a rattling noise. Informed Jackson of my situation. They asked me if I had any riding trips or events coming, and I said yes. I'm going to the big meat run in Disney, and I said, you know, it's in 12 days. So they actually overnighted me a turbo, complete turbo, and made sure that I had it on time, time to put it on. So that was nice of them. So they were more than willing to help out and do what they could to fix things and make sure I got to the places that I wanted to be. So good deal there. The biggest complaint that I have about the Talon isn't the horsepower, it is low gear. Low gear is too high. It's too high geared. You know, we'll get a lot of wind noise, so I'm not gonna voice over it. Let's see how fast it'll run in low gear. This is on 33-inch tires. But my machine on 33s will run 50 miles an hour in low gear. Oh, it only runs 75 in high. So, I mean, I don't understand why it needs to run 50 mile an hour in low gear. It should run a maximum of 30 miles an hour in low gear. And that's going to solve a lot of the horsepower problems, because it'll be low geared enough. You can turn big tires in the mud and whatnot. It's just, it's too damn high geared and low, you know. So, when you put it in low, watch. This is what I'm going to show you. See if you guys can see, obviously. Okay. This is in neutral. That is not in low. And this is exactly what causes low gear issue, is you pull the shifter back and you think it's in gear, and then you go to give it the sauce, and guess what? Clank, 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 and it just goes downhill from there. So all you need to do is just hold back on the shifter, and look, it goes into gear. So it's not a big deal. We'll put it back in neutral. Look, it's not in gear. So this is 99% of the failure problem with the Honda Talon. See? All you gotta do is just, I'll show you the difference. Another thing I would like to point out is the offset from the front wheels to the back wheels. This makes absolutely no sense to me. Front wheels are skinnier than the back. Okay, whatever. But if you buy 4 wheels that are all the same, the back will be narrower than the front. So if you want your wheels to be in line with each other, same distance, same width from the front to the back, you know, if you're 70 inches in the front and you want it 70 inches in the back, then you got to buy wheel spacers, which I do run. These are 2-inch RB3. So I don't understand this. Why would you do that? It's retarded. Why would I want skinny wheels on the front and wide wheels on the back? Can you just put all 4 the same? That way you can rotate tires, because that's going to greatly extend the life of the tires. The back are always going to wear faster than the front. So why they do that is beyond me. Makes no sense. So if you're going to ride in a lot of mud and water, or you like to do submarine stuff, one thing that you are going to want to do going to take this cluster out, and on the back it's vented. You want to get some silicone and put around that, around the vented places, or they don't last too long when they are submerged. So, a little food for thought. Okay, so this is me. This is the first hill I tried to climb in the Talon, so I'll be an example. Learn the transmission modes, learn what to do and how they work and when to use them. Anytime you're going up a hill or in the mud, use manual mode for sure, or you will get some erratic shifting the worst time. Happens a lot going up a hill. It'll try to shift, then it doesn't have enough power, so then it shifts down, then it shifts back. Does the same thing in the mud. So take my advice, learn what the modes are and when to use them. Okay, this button right here, Hill Start Assist. And what the hell is that supposed to be for? I would like to know. If anybody's ever actually used this and benefited from it, leave a comment and tell us. Because I just see this as a completely useless deal. I'll tell you what this button's for. I need to take that little icon off. This ain't a Hill Assist button. This is a launch control button. I got my GoPro mount, so sorry for the inconvenienced location, but let's see what she'll do in launch mode. Turbo Talon. You can hear that. One thing that I will complain about, the shifter location / setup. Why don't we get a boot? I can see the ground through there. It's hot. It can't be hard to get a shift boot for this thing. It ought to come stock with that. That's not, you know, it's not much of an add-on. I don't feel like that would be asking too much. Yeah, you can put a boot on it, but I just don't feel like anybody should have to do that. I think it should just come with one from the factory to cut down on some of the cabin heat. A lot of people like custom cages. I like custom cages. I built this one. Building one for the No Fucks 900. I'm gonna build some for Dad. So the stock Talon cage is pretty thin. In the Talon's defense, most stock cages are. That's, you know, nature of the beast. When you buy a stock production side-by-side, you are not going to be able to run it like a rock bouncer. It's not a rock bouncer. It's a, you know, all-around machine. The roll cage is good for trails and general riding. If you're gonna go buy a Talon and take it out bone stock and roll it, you know, 12 times down a hill and then be like, oh well, my cage bent, what the heck, man, you know? Well, I don't even know what to tell you. They're not made to roll 12 times down a hill. If that's what you want to do, or if you're gonna do that style of riding, go buy a tube chassis. Go buy a rock bouncer. Or be prepared to set the machine up to do what you want it to do. Everybody on Facebook always complains of how rough the Talon rides. So when I bought this machine a year ago, I gave $18,000 for it, and they delivered it. I bought it sight unseen, brand new. I was impressed with the way that it rode. I mean, you're not buying a $35,000 Can-Am or, you know, it's not going to have that quality anything on it, really. I mean, this is in my opinion a budget level machine. Is it capable of many things? Yes. Is it the best of the best? No. That's my opinion on that. If you want the best of the best, then either get ready to get your checkbook out or buy a different machine, because I like the Talon, but you know, it's not, you're not going to take a stock Talon out and do stuff that rock bouncers do. You're not going to go to the dunes. You're not going to pull wheelies. You know, it ain't going to happen. So don't buy one thinking that you are, because it's not going to happen. Okay, we can't make a 1-year review without saying something about the drive shaft. Now, I think a lot of this is opinion. I like blue, you like green. Not really wanting to turn it into a debate per se. So I had the Talon for over a year, really probably about 14-15 months. Putting this video together. Last trip to Disney, which I have that video on the channel. I was bouncing up a waterfall, which is a good 4-foot ledge or so, and I broke the drive shaft. Now,
come on! I say you broke.
Now, this machine has not had an easy life.
There you go.
So, you can see right here on this weld where it's got a rust ring around it. It's had a lot of stress on it. So, this end, this rub mark here, that's from getting it back home, but so don't mind that. But you can see that it's crinkled the surface, so it's had a hard life. Other thing I'm going to say is this U-joint feels good. It feels like it ought to. All the clips are in it where they should be. If you don't know, Honda pretty much marks everything. On the drive shaft, they mark one cap at each end. And as you can see, mine has spun. This is not the end that broke. This mark should be over here lined up across, and it's not. So one way or another it's spun. So you can see here, I believe that this one has turned too, but I'm not sure. Not sure, it's kind of hard to determine, but this is the end that broke. I know I have a razor, so I'm not a brand queen, you know. This is what I'm going to say. Anybody that has a razor that I ride with, the drive shaft is the first thing that breaks. This drive shaft has had a hard life. Some of it could have been avoided, but I like to party. So anyway, this ear here is bent outward. Might have happened when it broke. I don't know, it's hard to say, but I would have liked to have seen this cap to see if this one had turned as well. But that's that. I do believe that this joint was on its way out, and the reason that I say that is because on this other end, the end that is still intact, can't hardly turn it, and it feels gritty. So did the U-joint fail or did the yoke break? It's hard to tell. This is a direct replacement. You got two choices with Moog. You got 338, which has a grease cert, and you got 838, which does not. You know, I guarantee you this much: I'm not pulling off my skid plates just to grease a U-joint in the drive shaft. That's not going to happen. Personal preference if you want one with a grease cert, or if you don't, you know, whatever. I feel like if you're not hard on stuff as far as when you're running in full-wheel drive, if you keep the front end on the ground, you'd probably want a greasable joint, because I think it'll last a lot longer. But it's not going to do any good to have a greasable joint if you don't grease it. So if you don't ever plan on greasing it, just buy the 838, and then you won't have the hole through it. So when I broke the drive shaft, pulled the skid plates off, and pulled the drive shaft, prop shaft out from the bottom. This time I thought maybe it'll be easier to go through the top. I will advise you not to go through the top, go through the bottom. It is a whole lot easier. The only thing that's a pain is there's a hoop here, and it's a pain in the ass to get that out, but honestly that's the worst part. You know, my opinion. It's a lot easier to go in from the top. So it's OEM replacement dry shaft. I tacked the caps in place, no big deal, and then we'll put it back in here.